Let's go! It's quarterfinals day here at Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon. My name is Matt Niberia Daniel, joined by Wild Rift aficionado and mobile game archaeologist, TJ.
This map's so big, people are moving across it slowly. I don't know what I'm watching. Back over to you.
League of Legends, as it turns out, TJ. So we'll get into a little bit more of that, and you saw the previews before. That is not a glitch. That is not a graphical error. We have two Evil Geniuses teams coming into the quarterfinals today, both Prodigies, their amateur team, and their academy team. So that's going to be really exciting. But before that, we've got a highlight package of the games you may have missed from yesterday.
And if you did miss them, then I feel sorry for you. Most importantly, because of this play, I want you to watch Luger and what happens to his Akathi and Rain.
It always happens. It always feels awful. You know, TJ, I almost missed this. I didn't know when the first game started, and then I remembered, Tanner time.
Figured exactly. It out. And it was Tanner time. A huge day for Demonte on the Rift, and the entire team of 100 Thieves was able to step up very, very well as well. I want to shout out Luger. A lot of these team fights were insane. Luger was a huge part of that in the AD carry role. And also Tenacity, who is near and dear to my heart. Tenacity, I think, one of the biggest success stories of the 100 Thieves Next program. He was able to kind of come out of the amateur scene, instantly find success here in amateur or here in academy, and look very good as well.
Speaking of very good, Golden Guardians yesterday slapped once again. They've been really looking fantastic ever since we saw them with their rematch against NoOrg. They have been on a tear, and it was so fun to watch them just dominate fight after fight yesterday.
Maybe it was fun for you. It was a tragedy for me. Toilet paper team, rest in peace. They put in a good word. We had some sick team fights, but yes, Golden Guardians did come out on top in the end. And one of the things that was fun for me, again, drawing upon the lines that we have been watching and casting for now almost a year and a half, man. Do you remember when we first saw Rosethorn playing an amateur for Team Fish Taco?
Oh, yeah. That was forever ago. And you say that this is the same player, and I almost don't believe you because of how fantastic Rosethorn looks compared to our introduction to him of the amateur scene.
Yeah, I mean, that amateur team that Rosethorn was playing on was not one of the best teams, and Rosethorn has cleaned up his play so much from them. He has not just gone into being a very, very competitive academy player, but flat out one of the best junglers in academy. It is so much fun to watch.
We've got some really good junglers on display here today as well. Of course, we are in round number 3. It's the quarterfinals, in case you forgot, TJ. We've got C9 versus EG Academy for the first slot. The second slot, EG Prodigies versus NoOrg. Got to be real careful to not mess those up, TJ.
Yeah, I just like to say it really, really quickly and see if I can slip the Prodigies underneath people's radar. And then they're like, wait, but I thought EG already played today. The real question, our mutual friend Kelsey Moser has been chatting with us. The real question is which of the two EG teams are better. And the fantastic thing about today is that if EG wins both matches, we will get the EG versus EG rematch.
That's what I'm looking for. They got a week to prepare for that. I don't want to be the coaching staff in that situation. It's like, all right, we don't get to talk to each other for a week. See you later.
Here is how things will stand in the lower bracket, though. And this is all important because these will be the games that are broadcast tomorrow. TSM taking on FlyQuest in the Academy, and 100 Thieves taking on Golden Guardians. Again, two Academy teams. As sadly, the numbers of amateur squads are dwindling here.
Oh, poor Zeus. Toilet paper cat team's down. We still got NoOrg as of tonight.
And we have NoOrg, EG Prodigies.
But they're against EG Prodigies. I know. We're going to lose one. We're losing one tonight, TJ.
Well, if they go down to the lower bracket. But thankfully, I do want to call out both the remaining amateur teams are in the upper bracket. I'm real proud of my boys.
That's true. They've made it, TJ. We do have to talk about those later, though. That's our second series. First on the docket, we got two Academy teams going head-to-head. It's C9 versus EG, and this is one that we've been really excited about, getting to see more of the evolution of the Academy teams throughout the Proving Grounds circuit.
Yeah, EG, of course, didn't have a great Academy season, but they've looked so good ever since then. And one of the things that came from that evolution was how strong their mid-jungle duo was. You know, Contracts has stood out all season long.
Yeah, Contracts is one of those players that has been kicking around forever and has just this beautiful history to him. You know, he came out in C9's first B team, which was C9 Challenger, and then went all the way up to the LCS. That same year, he made it to Worlds, and since then, he's been popping around team to team, and he's been providing that veteran voice that every team needs in Academy and Amateur, wherever you are on the Proving Ground circuit. You need a veteran, you need one who is skilled, and Contracts is that and more.
And he's been rookie whispering, because Contracts plus Jojo Pyun has been the duo that has set this scene on fire. Jojo Pyun is the zoomer that we all talk about when you're like, man, we need some young, fresh talent in North American Academy. It's Jojo Pyun. There are stats for this season where he has been tearing up. I want to read off the characters he has played here on Academy.
Okay.
3 times Lucian mid, 1 times Renekton mid. You'll note none of those are traditional mid laners. Obviously, we see Lucian a decent amount, but I'm excited. Yeah, to be fair. It is Doinby, though, so...
It is Jojo Pyun, though. You know, I'm not saying they're the same, but I am heavily
I'm saying they're the same. That's my analysis point. I want to see Jojo Pyun kind of keep this, because over the course of the season, you can see this as well, he played like a ton of set mid. I want to see Jojo Pyun continue to be able to play these off-meta characters, and I think one of the reasons why he's been allowed to flex into his comfort zone, into characters he's especially good at, is because it doesn't especially matter what his head-to-head matchup is, he's gonna win the head-to-head with Contracts by his side. That's such a powerful tag team.
Yeah, especially when you have Contracts pulling in, calling in the shots for Jojo Pyun. It's just like, all right, click on this dude and let's go. Jojo Pyun, to his credit, one of the best clickers in the West, let me tell you. So that's
so
the story of EG. So they're going against C9. How are we feeling about that stylistic matchup between the two?
C9 also have a really strong jungler, which we can get to in a moment, but I want to talk first about their bottom lane, because it's the secret weapon. C9 play incredibly well during the early game most of the time, but if things go wrong, if they're not able to close the game out in the first couple of moments, they got this bad boy waiting in the wings.
Nice.
And King and Isles do this really cool thing where King will just scale in the bot lane, plays a lot of Ezreal, just very safe, doing his thing, scaling up, he'll arrive in the team fights and clean up. And during that early game, because King is so stable, Isles is oftentimes on characters like Bard, where he can be roaming a little bit more around the map, have some map presence during the early game, which gives them an extra boost during the early game, and they still have this insurance policy.
And I think the thing that I am excited about going up into C9 is that top side of the map is really dangerous. You've got Shurnfire, who came in from Oceania, came in from that region, made it to North America, and was like, you know what? This is boring. I'm just going to top solo queue. No worries. And got there with like 1,300 LP in a couple of weeks, which was just stunning. And everyone was like, okay, cool. And you've got Darshan, who's, again, much like Contracts, one of those veterans of the league, veterans from LCS, who has been here for ages and knows the game so incredibly intimately. Very, very prolific split pusher. Last season, he somehow talked his team into letting him play Tryndamere, and he was right to do so, because he just smashes people with it. And that's why I love Darshan.
We got some Tryndamere this season as well, excitingly enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the place where these two teams overlap, as we are, I believe, heading into the draft here, is going to be in the jungle. I want to see us draw attention and keep our eye on Shurnfire and Contracts. They have slightly different goals. You'll see Contracts obviously put a lot of emphasis towards Jojo Pyun. Shurnfire tends to be a little bit more focused on the two side lanes. He'll kind of leave Copy to be stable oftentimes and get Darshan out ahead, make sure King is safe. but the overlap is there, and whichever jungler is able to make more out of the early game, I think will be a really good weather vane for this game.
I'm kind of waiting for the Hecarim then. If you're talking early game, that's my go-to after Udir's banned out. So Nidalee taken away as well. A lot of focus onto these jungle champion pools.
I have a very important note on that. Schernfire hasn't played Hecarim in an official game that I could find since he lost a 51-minute banger to Order in the OPL 2018 regular season. And I was like, man, he hasn't played any Hecarim, and I went back looking, and that Order game, the 51-minute Order game, which I do remember watching live, is the very last time I can find any record of him playing. You know, those records could be incomplete, but that's the data I have for you, and he sure is looking in Lilia, which has been part of Schernfire's pool this season.
They're banned anyways, TJ. They're like me. They're not putting in the risk. They're not letting Schernfire see it. If he brings out that Hecarim out of retirement, that's terrifying.
Maybe he's been working on it.
Nothing you want to see.
Yeah. On the opposite side, we'll pay attention to those bans with both the Hecarim and Udyr out. It's obvious they agree with me that Schernfire is something to be focused on, and then they're drawing a lot of attention towards that bottom lane. They ban out the Jinx, and they first draft the Tristana. I like this a lot from EG. They also have a very good scaling bot lane in Shoryu, but containing King should be a priority. So they managed to get the Tristana, and they're going to follow that out with the Rel combo, and it's going to be very hard for King and Isles to do their normal safe scaling shenanigans in that line.
Man, I just remember when Rel first came out and everyone was like, you know what? I mean, she doesn't do any damage. Why is she all that threatening? There's no way. Then she hits competitive and it's pick ban 100% of the time. If you're red side, you're getting Rel plus an AD carry every single time. She's so good. The engages she can make are so incredibly consistent and powerful. We saw it last night with Chime, who came out, just dumps in, dunks people, pulls them in, and that's what we're going to be looking for Mystiques to do this game. So there's going to have to be hell of an answer from C9.
Yeah, it also works really well with the Nidalee, which is oftentimes one of Contract's characters. Basically, any of those lighter weight assassin junglers that want to get into the backlines benefit massively from the Rel, and also set the Rel up very well. This is interesting. So the Lucian is probably mid... is probably kind of a counter ban against Jojo Pyun's mid as well as a pick. And it could go to Copy, it could go to King, it could even go to Darshan, depending on his mood. But the most interesting part here is that we also have an Alistair. And the Alistair is something that Isles is good at, but I was kind of hoping that we get to see an Enchanter. It feels like he's been forced to acknowledge the engage potential of that Rel, especially now that Inar's there as well, and draft for the tank here.
You just wanted to see the Janna again, huh?
I did. The Bard actually was what I was thinking of. During the Bard game the other day, he ran up to top lane and he does this every time he plays Bard. He'll run up to top lane and just put down like three different heal pots, so that Darshan can just play stupid aggressive during the first 2 minutes, and it's a lot of fun. Speaking of Darshan, that's what that GP ban is for. Darshan is terrifying on GP.
Sorry, TJ, I was distracted because the ban graphic exactly follows the shadows on Gangplank's face. I was like,
oh my god,
there's no line there. There is. It's just shaded
It's not really banned.
He can make it through.
He's going to cleanse, Matt.
That's right, he's got the oranges. We see King's champion pool getting crunched down upon once again, taking away that Xayah there. Don't want to have to deal with that.
Lots of Ezreal this season, so I that's kind of where I'm expecting this to go if the Lucian isn't there, but I kind of expect the Lucian to be AD carry here. And I know that's not meta right now, but King likes to play a little bit wider than the meta. He's got a lot of games on Misfortune this season, for instance, which still a good character, but not seen a ton in competitive. So I expect to see that Lucian pass down there with high mobility. I think he feels very comfortable on it. And we'll see something more standard control magey on Copy, perhaps. Speaking of more standard control mages, guess what's just been double banned? It is both the Orianna and Syndra. Oh, we get Rel Nocturne. This is fun.
All right. That's a really fun engage combo. Anything with Nocturne is a fun engage combo in my mind. Check back with me in 2 weeks when Nocturne's been continually meta for another month, and then I'll be like, all right, you know, Nocturne's boring. Let's try something else. But for the meantime, I love this engage. I love it into pretty much any AD carry because you can just knock them out of the fight and keep them busy. Then if you have a Rel stun to follow it up, that's just a dead AD carry.
Oh. Yeah, Malphite up top for Darshan, or maybe we get wild here. I'd love to see. I'd love to see us
Alistar top.
So the Nocturne is part of Contract's pool this season. He has played it before, and it obviously fits within what Contracts has been playing a lot of with the Nidalee. Very similar style, and we do get Lucian mid. So I am incorrect there. This will be a Sivir pulled out in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Sivir's been making the rounds, but she had sort of fallen off a little bit. There was a brief resurgence of Sivir, and I thought we were kind of done with her. Like, her play dropped off like a week or two ago, and I was like, okay, maybe teams are done, but apparently not, which I'm happy to see because Sivir has potential. If you have a clumped team fight, Sivir can just chew through people. She can poke as well with the boomerang blade, so interested in seeing what King's going to bring to the table with this.
So Copy has played, in fact, a game of Lucian in Proving Grounds. He is solid on the character. The reason I was skeptical was just because Jojo Pyun, it really likes playing into Lucians in mid. We've seen that matchup a couple of times. Jojo Pyun does very well against it. And I figured that we would see Copy play a little bit more defensive, given how much emphasis EG put on that mid lane. The Lucian does give him plenty of escape tools, some long-range wave clear. So I actually like it. I've come round. I just wasn't expecting it. Speaking of those kind of defensive picks, you also have the Sivir wave clear down bottom, which will enable them, I think, to keep the Tristana under wraps.
Oh, yeah.
Overall, I think I really like both these drafts. EG have drafted really aggressive. C9 have drafted so that they can sit tight in both that mid lane and be pretty scary come team fights.
I know it's not going to be very likely the focus of attention here, but I'm looking at this bottom lane because having played enough of both sides of the matchup, I know that Sivir into Tristana, if you're a really good Sivir, and King's really good, is really painful for the Tristana. You can't get any explosive charges off. You can't knock someone back 500 range away. And you have wave clear to match yours. You have shove to put you under tower. So I think C9, like you, I'm really high on this draft from C9.
But on the other side, EG have such a good wombo combo in that mid lane. They have such a good teamfight comp with the Rel Nocturne. Like, EG have built a composition to do what they do best, which are these really synced engages, which are these really synced plays around contracts. And so overall, I think this is an ideal world for both teams. C9 had to make some adjustments to what EG were bringing, but they've done that. And on the opposite side, what EG are bringing is their A game.
Looking forward to it. Game number 1 begins now. I'm just looking at this top lane. We see Darshan on the Malphite. I'm looking at the mid lane for EG. Jojo Pyun is Silas, who can steal away that ultimate. Now, TJ, I don't know if it's just me, but Malphite ultimate plus Nocturne plus Rel seems like the most terrifying. Plus Gnar. You just don't get to move. There is no way you can move in a 5v5 versus EG.
Jojo Pyun Silas is pretty sick. But I don't want to put too fine a point on it because Jojo Pyun everything is pretty sick. Invade here early.
Yep. This is a time-honored Lilia tradition. Try and steal away the Raptors level 1. Have a lot of people engaging. She just has such fast camp clear with her Q. Can just take out those tiny Raptors real easy. And now Contract's already set behind, so this tempo, I'm feeling it for C9.
We didn't get the chance to, but we were going to throw up a graphic about the head-to-head matchup between Contracts and Fire. We may still get a chance to do that before our game 2. I'll ask about it. But he has been consistently like the best jungler here in the Proving Grounds. He basically beats everyone in stats. His gold difference at 15 is 464. His first blunt percentage is 46%. Like, he's doing really good. Shurnfire is one of the other best junglers, but is behind in just raw stats by a couple in every category. So this is a very exciting matchup, and it's especially exciting to see Contracts already kind of being bullied out, obviously on a Nocturne versus Lilia in the early game. But I'm excited to see that continuing.
I really feel for Contracts. There's just nothing you can do. Got the little deer running away from you, level 1. She's fast.
Mm-hmm.
And this is... Oh, no. What a great ward from C9.
Mm-hmm. He knows. Contracts sees something in the way Copy moves, and he's like, And Shurnfire is going to be aware of this as Contracts tries to steal away some birds. Jojo Pyun needs to bail him out.
Just so good. So good from the side of Cloud9. The perfect ward, the perfect reaction. Shurnfire already, soon as saw the ward, was just like, well, guess I'm heading back to Raptors immediately because I know exactly what's on Contract's mind, so.
And this was something I wanted to talk about. Like, C9 have really good drafts, really good in-game, etc. One of the things that most impresses me about this Academy team is the way they play around their opponents. The way they are able to change their game plan based upon the game state, their strengths and weaknesses in the individual game. This is a very intelligent team. Both these teams are. But C9, especially with regards to drafting, they are very, very good at making those adaptations, recognizing how they can bully this jungle matchup, for instance, and case in point, having a great time.
Shurnfire right on spawn was immediately there. This is interesting to me. Instead of going immediately for the crab, looking for the Krugs first, looking potentially for a top lane gank here as well. Just going to wait for the Krug spawn timer instead.
Yeah, Shurnfire does put a lot of resources up here towards Darshan. And with this shoved so much, I could very much see them trying to hurt Tony Top in this early game.
Well, they'd have a little bit of difficulty. Might be able to find it because Tony is so far up the lane.
This is so sad for Contracts.
Yeah. It's a little rough. Shurnfire did get spotted out on that ward. Still not taking the crab. I guess just assuming or knowing rather that Contracts has not made a move. You do have multiple wards throughout both the bottom river and the top side near the Raptors, so you would, I assume, see him unless he took the long way around to the crab.
You've heard of vertical jungle. Shurnfire's invented the isosceles jungle.
Copy, once again, just walking away from that gank. No,
He's got warding. He sees everything, Matt. He sees that gank coming. Copy takes a step back, says, after you, good sir. Shurnfire will get around to this scuttler occasionally. Eventually. Coach James Scuttlefield.
Alright, here comes a potential gank into the mid lane. Shurnfire. Not spotted yet. Jojo Pyun is level 6 though, so. The zoomer fingers!
He knew that was coming. Very aware of it on the positioning. In the middle of the lane, but off to the side so that that roam down from the top side was that much more difficult. Once you dodge the swirl seed, nothing really happens there.
Copy. Narrowly avoiding the engage there from Jojo Pyun. In Contracts, once again, sadly going back to farm the jungle. I feel it, man.
He's got his Raptors.
That's true. That's true. That's a victory.
This game.
That is a victory and a half, DJ.
Very excited. First rank of the game is up. So we could start seeing C9 try to play through their bottom lane here. Because this has been going remarkably well for King. They have successfully shoved Shoryu underneath the turret. Part of that is that Mystiques has been roaming a little bit. There's not a whole lot Rel can add to this early lane, so they've been trying to stabilize Contracts. And Shoryu is paying the price, and I don't think they've helped too much with Contracts' situation.
Not a whole lot you can do, like you said, if you're Mystiques. It's not just that you can't add anything to the lane, you can't contribute to the lane. We saw what happens. Isles knocks you up, and then you get full comboed by King. Meanwhile, in the top lane, there goes the stun into the wall from Tony. Darshan in a little bit of trouble. Should be able to make this one out. Still has the ultimate available to burn if needed.
Tony Top, another of those recent promotions out of Amateur to Academy. And so far, doing real good here against Darshan. As you're expected to be fair. Surenfire is getting yet more jungle steal.
Oh no, King in a little bit of trouble solo here. There comes Rel with the engage. Ultimate pop by King. Shoryu looking for more. Come on!
They don't have it.
Mystiques under the tower, finds the auto, another one.
Heal.
The heal! The re-engage from Isles. Shoryu's down!
Just
First
dead.
blood!
Double kill, baby! C9 come through to the bottom side. That was disgusting. Shoryu and Mystiques burn everything to chase that. And King, so carefully, so intelligently, sitting on his cooldown, saving the heal, and they're able to even reinvest that bot lane lead now into control of this entire side of the river and start paying attention to the fact that Contracts is trying to get some farm out of his own jungle or something.
This was just such a beautiful engage initially. And just watch, the moment this engage happens, the back is canceled. So King just knows he needs to stall, has the ultimate, and Isles is rotating down. This is where Mystique and Shoryu get a little frisky. The turret dive. They don't have vision of this. Isles immediately goes in for the re-engage. And Shoryu's just CC-ching the entire time.
Yeah, really, really good play from Isles. Alistair.
Oh my god.
In for another good play as the Pulverize lands onto two. Contracts in trouble. Will ult go down immediately after. But the cover of darkness allows EG to slip away. They lose a player around this Rift Herald. Probably the Rift Herald as well, but nothing more.
I apologize, TJ, for taking that last replay, because in the original call, my voice cracked harder than the first turret's going to after this Rift Herald.
Jojo Pyun. Still in way the Alistair ult. Let's see if they can make a play here.
Isles. Safe for now. There's the knockup. Surenfire can't do a whole lot to save the support. So now going to have to back off. A little bit of health left. Shoryu goes in for the dive onto Copy. Copy dashes out. Jojo Pyun has popped the ultimate.
Ooh.
Unbreakable.
Oh,
Unstoppable is C9. Both members surviving just barely a sliver of HP.
That is tragedy for EG. They will probably get this first Rift Herald as a result of it. They're able to fight back and stabilize around that top side of the map. It doesn't actually look like they invest for the Rift Herald. Not confident they could get it in time. And in the meantime, C9 managed to shove through the bottom side. They've gotten, I think, 3 plates in total on that bottom turret into King. King's just been free farming this entire time. Check out that CS difference.
Oh yeah.
This is looking very good for C9.
Yeah, I'm worried for EG because normally the way you would want to play through this is you have a massive lead somewhere. Because it's all about the team fights for this team comp. If you can get an engage off, Shoryu only needs to have a moderate amount of damage, right? But I'm worrying that at this pace, Shoryu won't even be able to muster that. 65 CS has been really stuck roaming most of the game, stuck shoved behind that tower, not able to find it. Should be able to catch up a little bit on this wave, but all the while, C9's picking up this Rift Herald.
Yeah, Surenfire dominating this jungle. Just put Contracts so far behind. And then that turned into all of these individual plays around the rest of the map. He's 1,000 gold ahead. Contracts.
Wow.
That turned into these individual plays across the rest of the map because Mystiques was then spending a lot of time roaming. King able to build out a pretty devastating lead in this bot lane. TP's in, they'll try and change that.
Isles is coming though, finds the knockup on Shoryu. Shoryu just dies 1v1 to Isles. But now King in trouble, gonna get feared up there, no more shield left, but Contracts, poor thing, does no damage and gives enough time for 2 more kills. What is C9 up to? How can they pull it off as Jojo Pyun flashes the thumbs up massively? Cocky for someone running away from 2 members of the team.
He's very cocky for somebody within headbutt pulverized distance. Isles, my god. One of my favorite supports to watch right now, period. now on 3 kills in this game. Fun fact, the most in this game. As he is the carry of this early game. Gotta love Alistair.
Unironically, he absolutely has been. It continues to be these heavy engages from EG down here into the bottom lane, and Isles is just sitting, waiting in the wings, like, all right, time to go in. I guess sure you're going to find out today, my friend.
Yeah,
the dive into the back line didn't go as well.
Full combo. Contracts does find the trade. Like, I don't want to... They do shut down King here, which is important, but King trades 1 for 1. And Isles says, sit in the turret and think about what you've done.
You will find something off this.
This is the right call for EG. They've timed it well to the resets across the map because C9, despite winning that fight, didn't need to reset. So EG off of their respawns can get the first drink of the game. And they want to start that timer rolling as quickly as possible just because they are playing into a decent amount of scaling.
It is their first time that they found that, though. It's 13 minutes in. That was the first time the Dragon was approached. So they're going to be on a somewhat longer clock. Around the 30-minute mark is when you can even start considering getting the soul up. Oh no, Schernfire. Just walks out of the fear, smites away the Raptor. Brutal.
They're his Raptors contracts. That's his red buff as well, we'll see.
Forces the splash. Wow. That's a red buff and a half there.
So far behind, Matt. It is a tragedy.
Ah, it's so rough, because Contracts has been making the right map movements, I feel like. Aside from getting his jungle stolen. Like, that gank in the bottom lane was fantastic. But he had no damage. He's been bullied so hard. Here he goes again. This should be a little bit more successful. Just one pop left. Oh! King still had the spell shield. And Isles gets his 4th kill of the game. What is happening?
Isles casually finding mistakes, and now they're looping around behind the turret. Sure you. What do you do? Contracts is just backed. Contracts is no interest. Sure, you should be able to rocket jump away.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, so if you look at our shared notes document... Oh,
Copy!
Copy!
Copy's looking for Shoryu. There's the Ignite, the full combo, the culling. Shoryu now 0-3, down 40 CS, having a rough game.
C9 dominating in this early game. And as I was about to say, if you look at our notes document, my first win condition, my first of the things they had to do was shut down Contracts. And oh my, has that been the story of this game.
Invading once again, finds Contracts, finds Mystiques, Jojo Pyun trying to find some revenge. Schernfire goes into the Zonia's, stopwatch rather, and Jojo Pyun once again on the escape. This time, does not find it. Oh, the thumbs up from C9, the nasty emote game going on here.
I mean, he deserved it.
Oh, 100%.
You've been seeing what Jojo Pyun's been laying down for the last couple of moments. He's been looking really good in this game, despite everything going on around him. Both he and Tony top stable, but normally EG has those two extremely good solo laners and invests the resources to enable them from Contracts. You know, they really do play through Contracts' jungle presence and shot calling, and that simply hasn't existed this game because of what Schernfire was able to do with them, and more broadly, what C9 were able to do with Schernfire. Like, that was a team effort, and a darn good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant execution on what was clearly a team-wide plan. They had planned this out ahead of time. They knew, okay, if we do get the Lilia, we just bully Contracts the whole game. Darshan, survive, shove out the lane when Schernfire needs to go top. Make sure that mid is shoved out when Schernfire needs to steal more camps. And through that group effort, they've kept down one of the most impactful members of EG. And now EG are on the back foot.
One of the most impactful players, like, in Proving Grounds, period. Contracts has been one of the best performing players in all of Academy this season.
The exclamation mark at the end of that sentence, of course, is the 10k gold lead. They find another kill. It's a 10k gold lead nearly at 16 minutes into the game, TJ.
Yeah. This is one of those Game 2 games. Matt?
They're leading by 20% of the total gold in the game.
This is one of those go next games. Matt?
Sure is at this point. C9 just need to close it out. They can take their time, though. They've got such a massive lead. Darshan did a beautiful job of absorbing any potential pressure that could come out from Tony Tot. No matter how aggressive he went, Darshan was like, it's fine.
Sorry, that CS was so good. Watching a Lucian CS, a giant wave like that, really fun.
I miss old Lulu CSing waves. It was similarly satisfying, but it was just one Q. You'd hit both the melee line and the caster's line.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
EG won this next Drake. It's kind of their only ticket back into the game. Like, it's soul or nothing. That's what I say to my friend when I get into their car.
Oh, of course. Here comes the invade. There's going to be the ultimate full team fight breaks out. The Dragon still available. Contracts finds it with an auto, but meanwhile the rest of the fight is a disaster for the side of EG. Darshan still alive, pushing forward. The full ace comes out, and all of C9 survive.
Mystiques with an absolutely heroic effort, that team fight. Manages to Magnet Storm literally 4 players. Very nearly is enough to get some players out. It was never going to be enough to win this team fight. Sits in the bush up top, waits for people to go by. Just beautiful. I apologize, it was 3. Unfortunately, as I said, there is no way that's enough to win this team fight. The numbers are just too big. But it was nearly enough to, get Jojo Pyun out. It definitely was the difference maker in terms of getting that Drake at all. EG do get it. Contracts able to walk away with it in his pocket. And so, the hope is still alive.
The red buff sure isn't, though. This is, what, the 3rd one Surenfire is stolen away in a row?
I think Contracts has gotten, 1 this game. Of his own red buffs. I think that one time we saw him clear Raptors is the only time he's cleared his own top side of the jungle.
Yeah, he's just been absolutely bullied. Almost being Flame Horizon here by Surenfire. And I want the viewers to come. We're going to play along with a game at home here. If you just put your finger over where the dragon icons are so you can't see them anymore. Doesn't that look a lot like a perfect game? Not quite. Like, there's a few details to FUD.
No, Matt!
It looks real close. It looks
EG
real
took
close.
a turret, they took kills, they took dragons. In no way is it a perfect
It's close. I will fight you on this. I will fight you on this. 2 kills.
If you pretend that EG didn't get turrets, kills, or dragons, yeah, it is an awful lot like it.
I'm doing exactly that, TJ. It's a 14K gold lead. I can say whatever I want, and it's technically true as long as I say C9's winning.
Sure. I don't think that's how that works. I appreciate your taking liberties. The C9 fans will appreciate that. I don't know
You
about
just want to
EG
keep the winning team fans happy. EG,
fair enough.
you know that they are planning for game number 2 already. That's how these things go. Once you're this far down, the discussion often turns to, okay, what went wrong here? What do we do next game?
Get some hashtag live evil tweets. That's all I'm saying.
They're not doing a lot of living evil right now. They're dying evil.
TP's in. Here we go. Dive into the backlines. There's the Rel Nocturne combo. Instantly slept, but Tony Top finds a big ultimate. That's the super slam they were looking for as the Magnet Storm from Mystiques locks down the backlines. But it just does not matter. Surenfire arrives. He's doing a decent chunk of damage. You have Darshan in the midst of all this as well. And it just adds up. They can't do any damage here. EG lose the fight again. Only Shoryu survives. And C9 turn for the Baron.
Does Surenfire still have Herald?
I don't want to talk about it.
Has that still not been necessary for this game? We only have 1 tower left before inhib towers, and we've still got a Herald in the pocket.
I'm hoping we get to see some dance moves. That's what I'm swinging for. It is still there, yeah. See the glow, wanted to confirm it. He does still have the Herald. And he's got a decent amount of time on it.
Baron buff? Do you get like a double fast recall? Is it just like you hit the B button and you're there in the fountain?
No, but you should be able to Baron empower the Rift Herald. He should get bigger.
Yeah. That's the next mechanic. Season 12. Let's see it.
I'm desperately hoping that we can see a somewhat different start to the game during Game 2. Because I don't think this game is as one-sided as it has looked. I think... Oh, all right, EG.
Okay, they're looking for something,
the
but
Alistar
Isles is so tanky, has the ultimate, still alive! There's Redemption comes in, lives through all of that. Contracts finally dives into the back, finds him. There's the victory that EG have been looking for. But the team fight does not naturally follow from taking down the support as Contracts pecking away at Surenfire, who will finally find the kill. And Shoryu trying to find the 1v2. Copy goes golden after taking down the EG80 carry. There will go the inhibitor tower, followed by the inhibitor, and shortly should be the game as that Herald is finally dropped by C9.
Are we going to get it? Does the Rift Herald survive? I think it has to.
What the dance?
Oh, they need to take this turret. I'm worried, Matt.
Okay, they're going for the engage on a Tony. So what they're doing is zoning off away from the Rift Herald. They just need one auto from EG. That's all it would take. Rift Herald lives! We get the dance! That's game 1. Over to C9.
I mean, with a performance like that, it is very, very hard to talk up EG into game 2. It is very, very hard to talk C9 as making mistakes or anything like that. It was a truly incredible team performance, the way they played that early game with the awareness of how they could just laser focus on the things EG was trying to set up, on the team fight they were trying to build, and demolish it before they ever had to 5v5 it, was beautiful. That's what C9 have been able to do in their best performances all season. That is why C9 are the #1 seed from Academy coming into this tournament.
Yeah, it looked absolutely incredible, and I think it is important for the EG fans who are wishing they could hashtag live evil.
Why are you so blurry?
I don't know.
The EG fans already got
a little.
to you?
I leaned forward a little, and then it focused, and I immediately leaned back. Anyways, for those of you wishing to live evil, look forward to game number 2, but really what you want to see is just Contracts not getting bullied out like that. That was a concerted effort from C9 to just remove Contracts from the game. And unfortunately, turns out when that happens, EG are in a rough spot. That was really...
It was the double wombo combo, because if you remember our pre-game discussion, I said EG need to deal with Contracts. They need to, at the very least, try that jungle matchup even. And they also need to shut down King. And if they do one of those things, EG are in with a very good shot. And if you remember the first 5 minutes of that game, Contracts didn't gain access to a single buff, and their bot lane got killed. King got off to a terrifying start.
Sure did.
And like you cannot build a better early game for C9. I don't even think EG made any terrible mistakes there. I think they were just controlled. I think C9 came in with a game plan and executed it perfectly.
Well, hopefully, coming into game number 2, EG will have a way to fight back. We will be back in just 5 minutes with game number 2 of C9 versus EG.